Welcome to the Winning Season Podcast. I'm your host, Elwood Lane. I'm here with.
Sir, Mike P.
CC Franklin.
All right.
Hey, baby.
All right. So this podcast series is to provide core business skills and concepts by discussing real business experiences. The skills learned here may provide context for some employees to do better and grow in the company they work for, or to provide better perspective to customers when they interact with business owners and managers. All right. First topic.
Yes, sir. We live.
Ego, for this ego versus confidence episode. So what is ego? What is confidence? Tell us the good and bad from your experience as it relates to business. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, man. Ego. Ego versus confidence. Everybody got, I say everybody got ego. Everybody has an ego. I have an ego. Frankie got an ego.
Facts.
You have an ego.
Mhm.
But also, I'm confident as well. I could be confident in my job, but I have an ego that may stop me from performing at my best.
Mhm.
That I might not see, but you might see that I have an ego. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? That's
Right.
what, for me, that's everything. If you're confident, but you have an ego, that's gonna stop everything for you. So
Okay.
that's how I feel, man.
Well, I mean, I think ego can carry both a positive and a negative connotation to it, depending on how you use it or how you manifest it. So, like, having an ego somehow can be synonymous with the word pride, right? A good pride and a bad pride.
Right.
Confidence all around is needed, especially as a man. You know, you need confidence to be able to, like, move towards things, to speak to
Right.
people, even when you're pitching an idea to an investor and stuff like that. Your body language, it comprises a lot of other factors than just like talking to somebody.
Right.
But when it depends on the situation, I don't think should ego doesn't mix well with business at all, from my experience.
At all.
You know, because ego can cause you to lose customers or clients. Ego can cause you to lose like a business contract, even your job.
Even your job.
You know,
Everything.
because humility doesn't exist in the word ego.
Right.
So yeah, that's my take on that.
So I'm an engineer. One of the best things I wanted to break this in with is so the human brain or the human body.
Mm-hmm.
We have a brain. We have input and output. Your
Yes, sir.
eyes, your hands, your taste. But the human body also has emotion. And when I think about ego versus confidence, I really see ego versus logic. When you think about the computer, one thing about engineering, we all have computers, a MacBook, whatever you have, even your phone.
Right.
Um, the computer has a processor element just like your brain, and it also has input and output, your keyboard, your mouse, might be your Bluetooth. The main thing about the computer, I know you have AI that's coming out, that's really
That's big right now.
trying to add
Yeah, so
emotion, but the core computer is always going to be able to do processing consistently better than the human brain. And if I do 1 plus 1, it's going to give me 2 20 times, 30 times, it's still going to be 2. And one thing in business, it's about results. It's about getting a job done. It's about just getting a job done, making more profit, making your customers more satisfied.
Right.
And if it's a decision that's truly based on logic, based on confidence, you can see through everything you need to do to improve your business. So that's my take. And definitely when you're unable to, keep to confidence and kind of tuck your ego away, you're just holding yourself back.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't see their ego too. They
Right.
think some people catch on to their ego at the end when everything is gone.
yeah,
You
but
don't want to wait too late.
You don't want to wait too
don't.
late.
And you also got to also remember that we live in a society where things have advanced in such a way that things that carry negative connotation now is like a fad. It's like, that's what's up. Like,
Yeah.
Beyonce sang that song, he got a big ego, right?
Mhm.
Now, you got men and women out here actually looking for a man with an ego, but you can't take that from your interpersonal relationships and
Right.
try to infuse that into business.
Nah, not at all.
It's not gonna
You're
work.
not gonna succeed. It's not gonna mix.
Not gonna work.
That's like mixing business and pleasure, man. Can't
Right.
just, you know what I mean? So that's my take on that. And also owners, a lot of owners, you know what I'm saying? A lot of owners have an ego where You could be on top. Nah, for real. You could be on top.
Yeah, I feel you.
You could be on top. You could be on top of the world. You could be the next big thing. But also, you can have an ego where you don't want to listen to nobody's opinions. You don't want to listen to nobody's critics.
Big facts.
You can't take critics. If you cannot take a critic and try to fix it, how can you move forward? You know what I mean? In business, anything at all. Like a lot of people that I see, because I've been in restaurant business industry, for 7 years now, working for the restaurant industry. So I just done seen it all. Ego, the ego, ego, ego. Even from the employees, us employees too, we have an ego. We have an ego. We think all the time that the company always need us. They do need us, but they do need us, of course. But also, we have this ego where we just think we hot shit. We just want to go in there and run everything.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And that's
Absolutely.
that's one thing about us employees. I don't know about business. How you see? What's your take on the business side, Weezy?
So definitely, the business is made up of the business owner. You might have a manager in place to really manage the day-to-day execution. You obviously have your employees, you have your customers. I think all three or everybody in that dynamic can have an ego, and again, it makes it difficult when you have that ego to really have an enjoyable experience. If anyone in that dynamics ego really gets out of place, uh, so it's you want the business owner or the manager to help run the business, run it in the right way. Uh, you want the
It's a whole chain.
right. It's a whole chain. You want the
It's a whole
employee
chain.
to understand their role in the company and be able to do that consistently. Um, Employees obviously are in the business to make money, right? But not taking the ego too far to say, oh, it's all about me making money, and
Yeah.
I don't really care how the business is impacted, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with customers. I don't want a customer to come in and think it's all about them, and I need to change all my rules so that you can benefit, right? It's not all about you either. It's a business is here to help you have a good experience, but it's not about you bending over backwards to meet some outrageous demand from the customer just because you spend some money. It doesn't work like that either. So
Right.
it's definitely everybody tucking the ego and being in reality so that everybody can have an enjoyable experience uh, for that day.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Fact, man.
next topic. Let's go to I can do everything. Is this realistic? Why delegation is critical.
You can't do everything on your own. You need a team. You can't do everything on your own. Once you get big onto a certain level, there's nothing you could do on your own. You need to have a whole team. Your team carries you on. If you actually go good by your team gonna do everything for you. So I feel like you need help. Every business owner has help. They don't work by themselves.
Well,
You can make it by yourself, but you also need a team
well,
right
I mean,
behind you to
I
support you as
feel you
well.
on that though. I mean, I feel you most definitely. When you look at the dynamic of most businesses, it's a team effort, right? So whether you like it or not,
Right.
it's a team. But if you look at a business that is a sole proprietorship type of business, where there's one individual, he has absolutely control over the things that are around him, he doesn't really need a team because he is the only individual that has the vision. He's the only one that sees it. And in most situations, I have a personal experience. For instance, when I was like 20, 21 or something, I started a business called Corporate Chef. And basically, what I used to do was I would go to companies, I'll get them to sign on for culinary services, and I would provide them with like lunch. I'll come down to your cafeteria and
Right.
turn it into a restaurant, basically with my team, and then we just do everything. And I had a vision. I knew exactly what I wanted the guys to say when they walk in, when they talk to the clients and the employees of the company that we are serving. But at the same time, I had a close friend called Seth that I worked with hand in hand. And he did not, it wasn't his company. He was my buddy
Right.
that I brought him on into the business. So he didn't have that vision. So I did what you just said in my earlier business practices. I said, oh, it's a team thing. But guess what? When I fell back and gave him that delegation to also make decisions and make moves
Right.
on his own, we ended up putting rice, boiled rice, into polythene bags, black polythene bags. And when when bags get hot, when heat is introduced to rubber material, the chemical
Yeah,
absorbs.
absorbs it.
So we went and we developed that. Delivered that to a company that were seven, and they called me, and I had to do damage control. I literally said, "Hey, I'm sorry, we made a mistake." I shut down the company. I shut down because what happened was, yes, now they say, "Oh, it's okay." A few months down the line, oh, I developed this, and next before you know it, you're getting sued. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I shut down the company, and I was like, I learned from that process.
But you was confident enough to close down the company. A lot of people
There
is
you
not
go.
confident
There
enough
you go.
to sit back and be like, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm going down.
It's called damage control.
There you go.
But coming back to the team component of it, yes, teamwork is great, but it depends on sometimes it depends on who the team member is, and also it sometimes depends on the type of business that you have. If you have a restaurant business, let's use restaurants as a
Right.
sample space. Restaurant business is a team. The bartender, the cleaners, and everybody. There's a team.
The cooks.
The cooks and everything. It's a team environment. But the owner of the company, believe it or not, it's a sole proprietorship. He can tell you what he wants and how he wants it.
Of course.
You can give him feedback,
Of course.
but he would decide what he wants.
He would decide what he want to listen to and,
You know what I'm
follow
saying?
and use.
Yeah.
Of course. But you still need a team, though. Because how about if you don't have that team, how you going to open?
I mean, the team is on you guys, but he's on top. If you look at the organizational chart of companies, you have, if it's a partnership, you have the partners at the top. But if it's like a one-person owned company, he's at the top, and then down, there's a team, right? So there's a manager and there's a team, and he delegates, the manager delegates and everything.
Right.
So like I said, it depends on the component of the business that we're talking about. Team effects comes in, but if it's a sole proprietorship, it has nothing to do
Has
with
nothing
team.
to do with team.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
Okay.
I agree. It definitely depends on the type of business. I definitely think it depends on the scale of the business, right? If you're a smaller business and you have more time, right? Time is really critical in all of this decision making. Then you can definitely attempt to do it by yourself. But as you
Right. But as you go up,
as you go up, as you try to do a bigger business, as you go into corporate America, the model is definitely find more people to fill different skill sets that might not be of your skill set, so that you can run the business, right? I mean, it could be a restaurant, it could be where you have servers, bartenders, executive chefs,
yeah.
bus boys, everything coming together to work together. And you definitely, as one person, I definitely can't fill all those roles. And then even from a management standpoint, I think that what I see from a management standpoint is that you can also delegate that and not just delegate the fact that you have this job, but you have to be able to put people in positions and trust that they can lead as a manager, right? I think that it's just key to know roles and responsibilities that they need to be able to identify skills and be able to actually build a team that can do that. And one of the key things about a good manager or manager of managers is to be able to set those skills, set those responsibilities, tell somebody, but also that you don't walk away immediately until they can prove that they're able to do the role, right? You're able to say, okay, well, I'm gonna put you in this role, and I need to give you a little bit of room to prove what you can do, but I'm not gonna completely walk away until I'm confident that you're not gonna make me look bad,
yeah.
right? And that's with any business. It could be an engineering team where you have a manager, you have a electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, you got different people. It's any business that you want to see grow. You got to have a team, depending on the scale. And as you grow bigger, you got to continue to build that team, and continue to have more and more confidence that these people can do the job, or you're not going to be able to scale, or you're going to stress yourself out. Or what if you want to go on vacation? I can't go on vacation
I don't trust these people.
if I don't trust these people. Now I'm in
Now you can't
I'm
go.
in
Now you.
I'm in Houston, right? I love Houston, but
We know that.
I can't go and I can't effectively enjoy that trip because I'm up thinking about, can this person run this company without them
Making
doing
any
something
mistakes.
big, losing a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my take on that.
You know, and also one thing that we also need to pay attention to is when it comes to delegation, delegation is simply a process where you sort of feel the individual out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for you to be able to like harness the effective power of the team as a unit, you need to feel out the individuals that are potential managers, quote unquote. But
Mm-hmm.
not to be the devil's advocate, no matter who you are, when you start a business,
Mm-hmm.
especially like a young entrepreneur in the business world,
Right.
no matter who you are, when you're away, a business is like a baby.
It is.
You will be
That's your
worried,
first
you
baby
know?
right there. You put all your
Yes.
heart into it.
Yes. So I think more or less I always think about continuous improvement. Like even as an entrepreneur, when you own a business, you also need to still improve yourself and learn the different skills of management and trust the process. You know what I'm saying? Trust the process. So yeah, I totally agree with the skill of business and the skill. And if you want growth, you definitely have to delegate because you cannot divide yourself into three, four, five
Yeah.
And
different people. You know.
and
That's a fact.
and I think one of the bigger things is like, I try to look at what works in life, right? I try to look at, okay, the Fortune 500 list. I see companies worth billions of dollars, and I look at what success looks like and how they structure things. And they all have these org charts. They have to put people in place.
Yeah.
The ownership. I was looking at the Ravens organization. I was as an example. I was like, oh, let me use this as an example. I looked up Bashadi actually totally owns the Ravens, right? I was like, wow. He didn't start like that,
Yeah. How he did that?
but years later, he definitely took over the whole
The
ownership.
process.
But overall, if you look at a lot of these companies, it's shareholders, right? I mean, and they all represent the ownership, right? You might have somebody like Bezos. He has a decent percentage of the company as an owner, but the shareholders are making up a lot of percentage of these companies,
A lot.
and they're over here. You might have a board of directors overseeing and making sure that that company is hitting the right metrics by profit and loss and things like that. But you have a whole structure of management from the CEO down through upper level management, lower level management, the lower level employees. It's just that's what works in terms of corporate America, and I think that, as a smaller business, even me, I try to look at stuff like that and try to see what I can do at my level, right? I'm not Jeff Bezos, but
Right.
I try to see what I can do at my level to try to emulate success.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of wanted to get back to that confidence thing where he said he had to shut down his business. I'd probably give me an example of, you know what I'm saying, what you went through with the trucking thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a perfect example. If people, I want to hear the story. Can
We're
you
gonna
tell
get to
everybody the
that.
story?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Good, my guy. That's a good one right there, man.
So let's go to titles, degrees, and how constructs like that can prevent someone from taking feedback that can really help them improve and do better. And like I said, hit those metrics of more profit, less expenses, improvement in employee morale, improved customer satisfaction.
Wait. So let me understand the question that you. How does titles and degrees prevent people that you're working with, or prevents the individual that has those titles and degrees from achieving their full potential?
So what I mean is, if I have a certain title, let's say I'm CEO, and somebody that I might view as a lower level employee provides some feedback of something that they see that can be improved, and I completely ignore what they're saying because
Because you
they're,
at this high point right now in your
they're
life.
below me. They can't
Yeah.
possibly have
They
anything
can't possibly have anything.
that is of any use to me.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that falls on. You know, what? I'm gonna let you go first.
Now I was gonna say that too. That you lost me with that one, but What else can you go, Frankie?
All right, no doubt.
My fault. You just
So it
lost my
basically,
train of thought right
no
there.
doubt, I got you. You need a shot?
I need a shot. Weezy,
All
can I?
right. Check
After
this
the
out,
show, man.
yo. So basically, that falls right on the business IQ,
Mhm.
right? And not even business IQ, but management IQ. Just because you are Dr. Elwood or Dr. P or whatever, that does not mean you possess the experience that is needed in achieving a goal,
Mhm.
right? Now, that circles back into the whole team dynamic, right? You may have had experience doing one specific thing in engineering for 20 years,
Mhm.
but the 20 years of experience that you've had, you become a subject of your own dynamics. And this, what I mean by the subject of your own dynamics is when you repetitively do the same thing over and over again, you fall into a habit, right? So that new person is a set of fresh eyes.
Mhm.
He is looking at it from an angle that in the 20 years of you being in that mode of doing the same thing over and
Mhm.
over again, now this person brings a different and fresh perspective.
Right.
So you can never dismiss people. However, your title, what it enables you to do is to be able to take that information and break down that information and see which ones you can use and apply and which ones that you can disregard or take away. To me, I always say there's never ever any bad advice. If somebody's telling you that, hey, I need you to go commit a crime or something,
Yeah.
if you look at it, you could always see there's a positive side and there's a
Mm-hmm.
negative side. Like when you break everything down, you could always tell, you could take the meats out of it, right? So the degrees and the titles, it's easy for us individuals with multiple degrees and stuff like that to be dismissive. It comes, I think that also comes with society because like imagine you're walking around Dr. P, right? Hey, Dr. P, you
Yeah.
know it all.
I feel like that shouldn't make you. That shouldn't make you be like, you know what? Fuck your opinion.
Yeah,
I got a degree now.
yeah.
I got a big company.
But when you
I
say
can't.
fuck your opinion, right there by you saying that, that individual who's giving you that advice is even greater than you because you can't let your degree. What is a degree?
That's what I.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm.
I
That's the
say.
question
That's
I'm
what I
saying. A lot of
say.
people have a
What does
degree
it
out here, and they
mean?
be walking around here like life is just like I got a degree. I'm just this hot person, but personality
Don't mean
wise,
nothing,
mental
man.
wise, the way you think, the way you run, the way a lot of people that have
Don't
all
mean
these
nothing,
big
man.
things,
No.
you are nothing.
It's your character at the end of the day. Like I should be able to, no matter what your title is, no matter what your how many degrees you have, your
Yeah.
character should
You
speak
should
for
sit back and
yourself.
always taking advice from a person like me. Like me, I'm on a lower level right now. I don't have a company. I don't have a big business, right? But I might could give you a little idea. You might could use it for yourself.
Hmm.
You might cannot.
That's the whole point I was about to make. Some
Yeah.
of the wealthiest people in the world don't have a degree.
There
Right.
you go.
Bill
So
Gates dropped
There
out
you
of
go.
college.
There you go,
You
Frank.
know what
So
I'm saying?
so
There
I
you
think
go.
that so I've seen a lot of different things. I've seen people get titles and I don't think they deserve them. Right. I've seen some people get titles and they bust their ass to get that title. I'm like, oh, they deserve that.
Yeah.
I've seen people that have degrees that I think that that degree matches with how they carry themselves. I ask them a question and they thought process matches that. I'd be like, okay, I get it, right? And even, down to just the, some like there's not taking away like that these things still means things in most cases, right? Because obviously I'm not going to go to the hospital and let somebody that doesn't have a healthcare degree, work on me. That's not going to happen. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
going to.
different though.
But I'm saying. So I just want to say that there's value in a degree and a title, but there's also just because you have that, you just shouldn't get into the mode of shutting people down
People down. Yeah.
because there might be even if 10% of what they said is beneficial and can help you,
Hmm.
that's well worth still listening. Now I'm not gonna let somebody go on and on about something that I know they absolutely are way off the mark about either, because now you're just wasting my time.
Right.
But there's definitely things that can be learned, and I just try to be open minded and really listen to people to really see what they're saying and can I benefit from this.
That's how I feel. I always sit down and listen to anybody's opinion, anybody's advice. I sit down and I take that and just try to bottle it in and see if I can use it for my own advantage. I might cannot use it sometimes, but I keep that in there 10 years from now. You never know. It might work.
But and I want to add this to it. So, for me, the people I surround myself with is always intentional. You know, you, Elwood, there where you work at, there are different people over there that I could
Yeah.
be cool with. But
Yeah.
no, it's specific. You can identify.
Mm.
You and I, we hang around the same places, same circles,
Mhm.
but you and I have a relationship,
Mhm.
even though we have other people around.
Of course.
So anybody that offers me any advice, to me, has already gone through some sort of approval process in my head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't think you have anything for me, you're not gonna be that close to me for to even advise me on something.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And also the advice, not even advice, but when somebody makes a suggestion about something, you also got to look at the background of the individual. You made a statement about a hospital, right? You're not gonna go to a hospital and let somebody who has no experience or no degree take care of you. However, I can take that same statement that you made and say, I have a headache, and
Mhm.
my, bless her soul, my grandmother says to me, "Oh, just drink water and lay down on your belly, and blah blah blah." And you do it, and the headache goes
And
away.
it goes
She
away.
doesn't have a
Back in the
degree.
day, shit.
You're like, how the
Yes,
fuck?
sir.
What is going on?
That's a good
You
point,
know,
Frank.
experience.
It's
There you go. Yeah.
it depends.
That's true,
it's,
though.
It's the level of difficulty of the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So if it's something as simple as a headache, then yes,
Definitely.
I might just drink water, try to bring my fever down. But if it's something more complicated, then I'm gonna look for somebody that's taken those,
Hmm.
30, 40 classes and stayed up all night and really got drilled with those tasks. I'm gonna go for that, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
that's
a
so it
fact.
just depends.
It's so
Um,
funny I hear Elwood saying this because Elwood and I had a conversation about 8 months ago, talking about how what was the name of that musician? Was it Erica Badu or who?
I don't remember.
Yeah, we were talking about a musician who has a Missy Elliott.
Okay.
So we're talking about how Missy Elliott is recognized, and I think they gave her a certain title or something.
Oh,
And I
Oh,
was
that's it. What I'm talking about.
yes, and I was arguing, I counter that saying
I don't want to go down that path. I
Alright.
remember that conversation now, but I don't want to talk about that.
We'll talk about we'll talk about all that later.
We
We'll
can talk about that later, man. Oh man, that's
it's about to get
that's
serious.
no, it's not going to get serious. This is just
I might
all
hear
right.
that. We're gonna take that for another time.
We'll take it for another time, man. Let's go to the ego may not like failure, but what is failure, and why is failure necessary in business?
Man, I feel like you have to fail just so you can sit back and be like, you know what? I failed here. This the part that I did wrong in. You know what I'm saying? You can sit back and reflect on that and be like, you know what? I could do this a little different this time.
Mhm.
I could sit back and be like, you know what? Maybe I did this certain way, but I'm gonna do it this type of way. Let me try something different. And I feel like failure that makes you even more confident.
Okay.
For me, that's my opinion. That's my take on that. I feel like everybody should fail. I feel like everybody should fail. That teaches you a lesson, and that teaches you to, you know what? Let me get back up. Now, if you get back up, if you don't get back up now, then now you're a failure for real. But if you get back up, that's what everybody should do. You get back up and you just right back, turn the motor back on, and you keep it moving.
Well, from what you just said, I can tell you for a fact that failure is one of those things that everybody relates to it differently.
Hmm.
What you just said tells me that you're a self-starter, self-motivated individual. Your motivation does not come from your successes, but your motivation also comes from your failures.
Yeah.
When you fail on something, you look at it and
Yeah.
you want to you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You change it. You don't want to do the whole insanity definition thing. So that's you. But at the same time, there are some other individuals who, when they fail and they fall, they can't get back up.
Yeah.
Such individuals need
Yeah.
words of reaffirmation. They need constant
I see
motivation
that a lot.
and stuff like that. So I think failure, to speak to what he brought up, I would say that we are a sum total of our experiences, right, in life,
Correct.
the things that you've been through and all of that, successes and failure alike.
Right.
The attitude that you develop at failure when you go through a failing process
Mm-hmm.
also builds resilience. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Definitely.
You make
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying?
Definitely.
So for me, for instance, I apply that to almost every
That's a
aspect
fact.
of my life. So if I go somewhere and I want to do something and you tell me I can't do it, I would just do it.
I just do it. That's
Yeah, I would
yeah.
do it. Like somebody would say you're not living your life for you, but at the end of the day, I don't like being told I can do something. And I apply it so much to even when it comes to dating or my relationships, or even when it comes down to my confidence in relationships got boosted one time when a girl told me that I wasn't the type of man that she wanted. And I said, "What's the type of man that you want?" And she said, "I didn't have my shit together." I was like, "I bet, say less." And I said in my head, I'm like, there would be never a time in this life that this girl will ever see me in the future and say, "Oh, that is why I left them."
Mm.
I said to myself, if this girl ever sees me again in the future, I'm gonna be that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And
So,
not because I wanted to get her back, but
Right.
I took that, I worked on myself, I looked at, things as a man I should develop, things that I
Mm-hmm.
should be able to have. I'm not saying she motivated me to take my education serious, but I tried to read wide, I tried to be an interesting fella. I learned how to um, develop my interpersonal relationship skills and stuff like that.
Right.
All came from that experience that I had. So I do believe failure can make you or break you,
Yeah.
but it all depends on the attitude.
Yeah, I don't see that
that
a lot too. I don't see people that shit.
Yeah.
so
My pops, man. I'm sorry, pops. Yeah, I love him to death, but you know what I'm saying? I just seen it all. Like I just seen different aspects of it. People fall and they never get back up. So I just witnessed it. So it's just like I feel like as long as you have a brain, I feel like you can come back from anything in life.
so
Me personally.
I'm going to say this. So failure is something that always scared me, right? So I'm trying to work as hard as I can to come from West Baltimore and do something different, right? And like I feel like I put pressure on myself to always be perfect. Like
Not taking L's.
there is no taking L's, right? So I taking a W. I'm going to school, this that, working hard, continuing to build myself, build my skills, still taking risks, right? So even if I look at something that's hard or challenging, I'm still gonna go for it, and I still feel like no matter how hard it was, I still was going to come out on top and take the W.
Yes, sir.
But then, and typically, and that got me all the way into my 30s, really, where I felt like I didn't really take no major losses, right? I mean, I did, unfortunately, lose some people in my life that I wish I didn't lose.
Definitely, man. You have
That's major for real.
But in terms of like, actually like success in terms of working and career, I was like, but then, Mike brought up business and failure and trucking, and that was probably my
Yeah.
first thing that I can say was a real failure to me, and I took it real hard. Like it took me months to really
Had to
bounce
pick that
back
boy up.
Yup.
and really get back. But I look back on it, and I learned a lot from it. And you talking about ego? That's ego.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, oh, let's keep going, let's keep going.
Let's keep on taking
Let's
more
drive
L's.
let's drive the ship to the bottom of the ocean, right?
Mhm.
All right. And the thing is, when it comes with confidence, a lot of people are giving you opinions, and they never had their back on against the wall like that, where they spending all this money, losing thousands of dollars every week, and had to really make a decision to say, if I keep doing this, money ain't infinite.
Yeah.
That's people think, like, I always tell people, like, I don't care if you got 10 million, 100 million, you can go from that to zero. I can show you. Give me access to your account. I can show you how to go from 100 million to zero.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Nah, it could
So-
happen though.
So it's like
Up down there tomorrow.
yeah, so I'm sitting there like, so one of the biggest things is, when it comes to whoever it's in corporate America, and I'm managing a team of people trying to make sure that it's profitable and that we able to execute. It's like you gotta know when it's time to go a different direction before it blows up in your face, right? So one thing about ego, it does part of that ego does freeze some people, where you be so scared you're not gonna take that risk, you're not gonna take that leap. So you just stay and do nothing and say, oh, you think about all the bad stuff. But I think that, if you really get to the point where you understand business and you can say, okay, how do I get the right plan?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get the right mentor? How can I, at least give myself some sort of calculated risk position before I jump in here and do it? And then it's like, okay, don't risk too much, right? If you got $1,000, well, I'm the type of person, I'm not going to risk all $1,000, right? That's just me. I might risk 250, I might risk 500, but I'm not going to risk the whole 1,000, right? That's just me. But you know, and like just keeping that mentality and saying, and then that's risk tolerance, whatever you want to call it. But it's like even when you start going, like let's say you had a budget of 10,000, and you say, okay, well I'm gonna start with 1,000. I know I really can't lose more than 4,000 because
Yeah.
maybe I need to pivot. I still got normal bills. You might have a family, whatever. And like I can't really go past that. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're telling yourself, you know what, when I get to 4,000 and you still want to keep going, and you know you can't go past that because you might not be able to recover. There's nobody that you can reach out to really get you back financially, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I need to stop. I need to stop at 4,000 and do something different. Maybe I need to take a pause. Or if you really want to if you really managing your profit and loss, maybe you taking a look at the trucking. As one of the biggest things is for me with that is like you taking a look at the market and looking
Yeah.
around, right? If you got a clean pond, a fresh pond, all the fish around you are doing well, right? You don't got to do nothing necessarily special to flow down that river like everybody else. But what if that pond is now the inner harbor down there, right? Where it's black and tar, right? And everything died down
It's
there.
the
Like
shit down there.
you should probably think twice and say, maybe this not where I should be at, right? And that's really was my biggest failure to start. And then you just get ego, like I can't fail, I won't stop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, like something is wrong. Red flag, go the opposite direction, do something different, or just stop altogether. Like you don't have this idea doesn't have to work. There's other ideas, there's other businesses. You got another day, you can get another. There's other opportunities where you don't have to force it, and you don't have to put yourself in a position where you go so far down that now you might not be wanting to eat the same. Your brain might not be
Yeah,
working.
you might not be working the
So-
same no more. You might
so-
not even be thinking about anything at all. You don't
so
want to.
you wanna stop before you get to where you need it, so you can still have that ability to recover and move on to the next business. And like I said, and for me, when I see people and I say, damn, you trying to help somebody and they not listening, and you like, man, I'm not in your financial position, so I can't tell you what your budget is and what you can accept. But me personally, I don't have no ego no more. Like not like that. Like if somebody trying to help me and they could do anything better, if I can make an extra $100 a day, I'm gonna listen.
That's why I look up to you, man, because I learned from all that stuff. Like just being around you, just you know what I mean. Just I don't have a big company, so being around you and seeing you, I mean, you take an L and you bounce back, and just seeing you moving how you move.
Right.
For real, that put me in another zone. That put me out here like I want to do that. I want to do some shit like that. Weezy, I want to be on. I mean, that motivates me. Seeing you do you, and just how you just bounce back like that, man. I appreciate that, man. For
Hey,
you,
man.
that shit was hard.
No
bro.
doubt.
That shit hard, bro.
So I'm gonna go into one more thing here. Last topic for the day. Continuous feedback, performance reviews. How those items are important in curbing ego and helping you to build confidence.
Continuous feedback and performance reviews.
Yes.
So, continuous feedbacks and performance reviews, for me as an individual, I'm going to cut it simple and dry.
Mm-hmm.
It's very necessary. You must be willing to accept constructive criticism. You must be willing to accept that you don't know it all,
Right.
And in sociology, we learn that you view yourself through the mirror effect of the lenses through the other person. So you don't know who you are or your mannerisms unless you interact with me,
Right.
interact with them, and then we give you feedback, and then you start to build a self-perception about how you are in the eyes of other people, So definitely it's something that I think any individual that wants to get into business must be open-minded to,
Feedback
that you're going to get positive feedback
and bad
you're
feedback.
going to get bad feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's the attitude with which you receive that
How
feedback
you receive
and
that.
what you do with that feedback. Like Elwood was saying, he went through the things that he went through, and we spoke a couple of times about
Yeah.
all those things. I shared my experience with him, and honestly, when I shared my experience with you, I was like, I don't know how he gonna take it, but
Yeah.
I kept on telling him, I'm like, yo, bro, you're not the first person.
Everybody goes through it. Everybody goes
we've
through it.
been there, we've rocked that boat.
Different level though. I might go to some shit. I might not be
Yeah.
at the same level as you, but we can relate.
Yeah, and I told him some of the things they was going through. I've been through. I've been through that path, and it's with time. That's why I was like time, right? But guess what? I give him all the big ups for getting himself out of it because all I did was talk.
Mm-hmm.
He did the work. He dug
There
deep
you go. Dug deep. You actually
and
put
got
that into
himself
you.
out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for our viewers, what we're basically talking about is just like having a business and coming to that decision to notice that your business is a sunken cost. You're pushing money into it.
Yep.
It's digging a pit.
Just digging a
And
pit.
some people do not recover from that.
Never.
Homeboy over here, Elwood did recover from
Yes,
that.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
all to circle it back to what you just said, it's all about feedback, right? And performance reviews. Like, you'd be lucky to have people that would tell you that, hey, I think you could do this better. I think maybe you could change this. You take that advice, that feedback,
And you run with it.
Yes, you not really run with it, but you put it down and you dissect it.
Yeah,
And
you
you take
dissect-
out the things that will benefit you and stuff like that. Never be close minded.
Of course.
That's my take.
Yep. I feel like everybody need feedback, man. But El Weezy, what we doing?
El Weezy, that's a new name.
That's his new name.
So this is my take on this, right? So in terms of reviews and feedback, I look for that. I got a performance review earlier today or yesterday, better yet, and I go through all of the good, okay, this, that's cool, but I'm gonna go straight to what you can do better, right? Because that's gonna help me get better. It's gonna help me compete better in a competitive environment. I don't, it's nice to talk about what's good, but tell me what I can do, especially if it's constructive criticism. I'm definitely gonna take that and try to figure out, not just listen, actually act on the feedback, so that the next time I have this performance review, it's not going to be there because I already changed it, fixed it,
Changed it. Yeah, you
right?
fixed it.
And just, I just see in corporate, especially, like, that's just what happens. Like, performance reviews, feedback, that's normal. It's the only way you can really have a metric for how other people view you. You can say, oh, well, I don't care what other people think, but you're living in a world with other people.
Yep.
That other person, your team, you need them to help to work for you, to complete. That customer, you piss that customer off, they might not come back again.
No.
But if you listen to the feedback, okay, you might lose that customer, but the next customer, they might be like, damn, they really did well. And now you got an advocate for you, right?
Yeah.
They telling their friend and the next friend, right?
And that's like 10,000 people.
Right. And it just keeps going, and that's what you want. You don't want to keep a lingering issue because your ego is so big that
One bad review goes a long way.
they don't know what that's. Now sometimes you gotta take stuff with a grain of salt, right? Some people are just deceptive, manipulative, and they just had a one-off. I mean, first off, you can't please everybody, right? But it's really a probability thing. Like, okay, if I can please 95% of people, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody, right? But I'll close with this: couple things online where 84% of people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Around 9 in 10 people have made buying decisions based upon an online review, and nearly 93% of people say that an online review has impacted their purchase habits.
Yeah, online review is big right now.
Right? And so again, it's all about, if no one knows you, what else do I have to go by?
Before I go to a restaurant or anywhere, that's the first thing I do.
Yeah, but
I go on Google, I look at review.
since we're closing this, I can't even go deep.
Yeah, I know we
into
can't
that,
even go too deep, but
I would say online reviews, the authenticity of it when it started was pretty much 100% accurate. But now people pay for that.
people pay for that. Yeah, that's
People
a fact.
pay for that.
That's
So
a fact.
now,
fact.
at the end of the day, even the authenticity that comes with online reviews is just even, you know what I mean? But definitely, as an individual, I look for feedback.
I love a feedback. Anything I do.
I will walk up to somebody that's been around me and knows me, and I'm like, yo, bro, no bullshit. What can I do better? Am I like, I just take that every now and then.
That's the same thing with my YouTube and my music. Like, whenever I used to go to the studio, I go to the studio right now. I record 2-3 songs. The first thing I'm doing is I want people to hear it.
Yeah.
I want you to hear it. I want you to tell me what I did wrong, how I sounded, on my YouTube too. Like the same thing. Like certain videos that I be making, I might sit down with somebody and show them. I want you to tell me what I did wrong. I want you to tell me why I could have sounded better. I could have said this better. I could have set up the video better. I could have edited the video a little better. Like, things like that will make you better in life completely. Like,
For
you
sure.
can't even get into too deep, but yes, sir.
For sure.
Ego versus confidence, man.
Ego
Winning
versus
season.
confidence.
Yeah.
Winning season, man.
Winning Season Podcast. Definitely follow, like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. We want to hear your feedback on today's show. Also, send emails to info@winningseasonpodcast.com for any additional information or questions. And see you all in the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.